So, let's review it everyone. Of course, Demon Slayer, right? Episode 2, Season 3, baby. I did see that I actually did a wrong edit on my reaction part. Yeah, the first bit, I was like, where's my Nezuko? But see that. Let me address it here again, right? It is a little annoying, you know. Getting a strike sounds very painful, right? Being a YouTuber. And one reason why I won't say take YouTube seriously, but it is a big reason, right? But you know, I like doing the stuff, right? Talking about anime, video games, and all, right? But one reason that always makes me not want to go in, like, you know, the reason I will never quit my job is because you have issues, right? So, unfortunately, I say that again last week, yeah, one of the Demon Slayer videos got strike, right? And I also find it kind of silly how I see other YouTubers, which I won't say who, but another YouTuber tweeting like, oh, he got a block, it's so unfair, only him. And I was like, man, bro, I got a strike, bro, you got a block. I would love to get a block, right? So if you know the difference between strikes and strike, blocks are like no big deal, honestly, in a sense, because block is like, no one can see your video, but a strike, of course, you actually, you know, lose your channel if you get 3 strikes, so that's a massive difference. For example, many of my My Academia videos last season got blocked several times, and usually you can cut away, they block a minute, so you can cut away the minute, right? And then you can still have it uploaded, or you can re-upload it. But a strike is like, you know, challenge. But anyway, it's about here, but I do address it again because it made me have to kind of go back, right, last week, and have to like remove some videos, because it's very strange how I made shorts on the video then, right, that I had got a strike on, and those videos said upright. So I was like, oh my god, they might get taken down, and then I get 3 strikes on it. So whatever, I digress, but I just want to address it a bit here again to explain that. And also point out, right, that I might take down this video, right, you know, personally, of course, I mean. Maybe I will remove my reaction and so on, you know, afterwards, right? For example, I did that with R0 for a bit, because R0 was very, very dangerous, right, you know, for a while. Everyone's with R0, so some of my R0 videos, I would upload them, right? Let them be up for like a week, and then I would just remove them, or private them, usually private them, you know, and so, but whatever, I digress, it's my point of that. And we're talking about the legendary heavy sword, right? So of course it's interesting that obviously the doll is based on the super new evil demon, right? The number 1 ranked demon after Musan. I can't pronounce his name correctly. I'm gonna butcher his name, KOKUSHIBO, whatever, right? Which again I think has to be related, right? Tanjiro somehow. I didn't get spoiled by it, but I almost got spoiled by it last week, right? I got several comments in the last review, where a lot of people are, oh no, he's not his father, he's like his uncle or whatever. I was like, please don't spoil it. So, if you know the truth about who he is and why he's a dollar thing, please don't spoil, right? I mean, what I mean is that you're allowed to spoil, I don't remove spoiler comments, as long as you write the comments, you write the text, right? Take space, and then write the spoiler, right? Like, so you have to press the button to read the spoiler, right? But some people, unfortunately, last review, posted straight up spoilers, so I have to delete them, right? But I, as the YouTuber, I unfortunately get spoiled, right? But I try to help all people get spoiled. But I quickly don't try to read them. But so honestly, please, if you read a spoiler, you know, make this text longer, so you have to press the button, right, to read the spoiler. Then it's fine. Then you can write how much spoiler you want, right? As long as people have to actively press the button, right? Because of course some people that are watching my reviews and reactions are manga readers, right? And I want you guys to be able to have a conversation between each other, right? But you have to at least, you know, spoiler tag, basically, right? Spoiler tag, please. Please spoiler tag, guys. Seriously, please spoiler tag. But anyway, he has to be his relative somehow, right? And I get this his father, even though I still think it could be his father, because even if he's very old, why couldn't he just have more children? Like maybe he can make more kids, right? Or I mean, if you're 1,000 years old, you can have, you know, a lot of kids, right? To make my point. Now, him being a demon, maybe that hindered him having children, I suppose. But still, if it's a little bit like, he's also the second strongest demon of all, right? Like, after he used Musan himself, so who knows, right? Maybe he can still have babies. Regardless, it's clearly based on him. The doll is clearly based on him, right? It's like the ancient battle doll. Like I said, the reaction part, I like how it's based on this classic thing called Karakuri, right? And I said it earlier, but I think the Japanese name here makes a lot more sense, where it's called Karakuri Ningen. So again, the word Ningen in Japanese means human. It's spelled with the hito. So if you see the kanji for it, it's like looks like a person, basically. It's easy to read, I would say. Yeah, I think that the kanji for hito, for human, is probably one of the easiest kanjis, which looks like an actual person, and so on. And Karakuri, of course, is this like mechanical, wired up doll thread. I already talked about it in the sorry, I already talked about it in the previous video. But of course, you can see Karakuri stuff in. I think mostly famously is of course Naruto with Kankuro, Sasori to the right of the Sand Ninjas, but also the Karakuri Circus, etc. So it's a really common thing, right, in Japanese. Let's call it Japanese historical fighting animes. But of course, they have powers, but like historical. You see this Karakuri. It's a pretty common trope. You find it in a bunch of different animes. And I think they're pretty cool, right? You kind of wire up this doll and so on. And yeah, I like this whole thing in the end here that yes, this is wired up thing and it's hidden inside the doll. They've hidden this legendary sword, right? So I think it's a pretty cool thing. It actually reminded me of minor spoiler warning here for this anime. When They Cry. So When They Cry, Higurashi, not Umineko, Higurashi. So spoiler warning, right? In Higurashi, they have a similar thing with one of the shard of her blade, right? It's inside the statue's head. So when you break that head, you can find the kind of the tip of the sword, right? Is inside, so you can kind of stab her with this like legendary sword, the tip of the head of the statue. So very similar to that, like hiding the sword inside the statue or inside the doll or whatever, right? And there's like a torture medical doll. But yeah, for that matter, I talked about it earlier, but I'm really excited for Silent Hill. Silent Hill is written, the latest game. It's gonna be written by the same person that wrote When They Cry, right? Ryoshin 7 or whatever. He said something like that, I believe. But anyway, so I think it's cool. Hiding the sword, right? Pretty iconic in other games as well, right? You hide the weapon inside the robot or whatever. So I like that. And then he finds the legendary sword, right? After breaking. It also was a pretty cool emotional scene because obviously Tanjiro, he was struggling, right? Beating the evil demon doll, right? And when he finally broke it, I liked the whole thing about it because it was like, oh no, he was about to break it, right? He's jumping and he was about to cut it up, right? And he looks at the kid like, can I kill it, Kotetsu? And he's like, oh, sorry, kid. He's like, no, you can do it. You sure? I'm gonna break it. Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah, he was like, well, actually, no. Should I do it? Oh, it's fine. Okay. That was cute. That was really adorable. And yeah, Tanjiro is out, getting new friends. He's a very friendly guy. Yeah, not like the Mist Pillar. Tanjiro is very, very friendly. For that matter, I've seen the opening, right, and also the ending before doing this video. And it seems very clear to me, as an anime only, of course, so I'm guessing, but it seems very clear to me that the older characters won't be in this arc. Right? Where's my Inosuke? Where's my whatever? I hate the older guy. Zenitsu, where is he? Screw him. No, but it seems pretty clear. Both the ending and opening, especially the ending, is only focused on the pillars, right? So yeah, I'll be very surprised. Straight up, very surprised, right? It doesn't feel at all like Inosuke is gonna be in this arc whatsoever. That is like sword village arc. And I guess it makes sense because it's like a hidden village, right? We see like Mitsuri being character with the blindfold and so on. So I just feel that the older characters are gonna appear though. Now we have the angry guy there though. Yeah, voiced by Nobusu. Yeah, Bakugo's one. He's in that part, right? But not the older guys. Not the typical, friend circle, right? It doesn't also feel like Nezuko's gonna have too much screen time. I don't know. We see Nezuko hugging Mitsuri and so on in the ending, and they're hugging in last episode. And of course, she's like a love pillar. She loves just affection. She loves the, just friendship and so on. So I guess she's all cuddly with, Nezuko. But yeah, the opening and the ending, see them both now, of course, are only don't have any like Nezuko fight scenes in them. Not really. It's like a very slightly. The ending only has the pillars. The opening has mostly just Mitsuri fighting, right? More or less, a little bit of the doll. Yeah, so I really feel like it's gonna be very focused on these two pillars and of course Tanjiro, right, and getting the sword and so on. But overall, this is a good episode. I like the idea, right? I mean, I said I like the whole Karakuri part. I think just the whole, Karakuri Circus, as I mentioned, the next part is one of my favorite animes. For what it is, Karakuri Circus is a very cool anime, but it was completely destroyed in anime. Yeah, they jumped over like half the manga. It's one of the probably worst actually adaptation of anime ever, like seriously. Karakuri Circus, like I really like it in the beginning, and then it's like around episode 10 or so, they skip like 10 manga volumes, something crazy. They go to like, they're at like manga volume 6 or whatever, right, and they jump to like 16 or something, and as an anime only, first watching it, then read the manga, I was like, what the F is happening? Like, it made no sense, right? Yeah, it made no sense. But one of my best friends, he's of course big manga anime fan, he read the whole manga in Japanese, when it was like going. He was like, no, he's like, I just skipped over there. He had to sit down to me and explain to me, Karakuri Circus, it's everything you missed. These guys on the circus, or this guy with the training with the knife thing, that's gonna be a whole arc when Shirogane and they go out and have a party and they're gonna fight these aliens, whatever. That's completely, basically, I was like, okay. But again, I kind of want to recommend, if you like the whole doll fighting thing, Karakuri is a very interesting anime manga, and it's a very dark, twisting storyline with death scenes, and there's some really, really sad scenes and so on. So yeah, if you like this doll fighting thing, I definitely would recommend Karakuri Circus, and of course I read it rather than watch it. But honestly, even the anime, as anime only, is it like watchable after you kind of get over, I guess, kind of like the weird skip, right? Basically, the beginning is good. The middle part is terrible because you get really, really confused. Nothing makes any sense, right? Because it's over half the manga. But then the end is basically the same thing. So the last like 10 or 15 episodes are basically like, okay, you kind of understand what happened in the middle, but you're kind of like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. So, so it's a weird anime where, yeah, the middle and the ending is good, but sorry, the beginning and the beginning and the end. But the middle part, maybe 10 episodes in the middle, makes like no sense. And my favorite part, sorry if I read about anime, but honestly, I think it's so funny because it's so badly done, is that they are in China, meeting his martial art master in China, and they talk about, we have to go to the Sahara Desert, right? And, like, fight the evil Karakuri, the evil dolls, right? They have their own life. They have to go and fight them. And then the very next episode immediately starts with them being in the desert, the Sahara Desert, inside a circus tent. And they're gonna fight the robots inside in the desert. And it doesn't make any sense because apparently, it's in the manga, right? It's supposed to be like 3 volumes of travel and fighting guys and going. Yeah, but in anime, they're like, we need to go to China. Oh, you're in China, let's fight them. And they skip over everything in between. And it's just so weird because, like, one of the main guys, he suddenly entered Shirogane leader, and he got like 20 Shiroganes, and he like fly in from the sky with like paratroopers, and it's like an army of good guys suddenly. So this is the main character suddenly in China. They bring with them like an army of ninjas basically. Like, suddenly they got like a huge army of super soldiers and everything. Like, what happened? Where did this other 20 character come from? And honestly, in the anime, right? Because everyone is fighting with the dolls, right? So like the doll maker, the doll fighters are the important characters, right? So suddenly they appear like 30, 40 of these like Shirogane, silver-haired doll makers, and they all got their own powers and everything. And there's no backstory, right, in the anime. They just appear suddenly, and they're also fighting with the evil dolls. And you're just like, where did this guy come from? It's like 40 of them. It used to be the main female character, and there's like her 40 sisters. And you're like, how did this happen? What it reminds me of, sorry if I'm ranting on anime, but I'll point out what it reminds me of, Tokyo Ghoul, right? Tokyo Ghoul, a pretty good manga, very good anime, right, in the beginning, so to speak, right, first season. And then it went crazy, right? Season 3 in Tokyo Ghoul has like basically the exact same thing, where you enter this, it's like, I guess, the fighting outside this theater or whatever, yeah. And suddenly it's like 40, 50 new Ghoul characters, and they have 0, I read the manga of course, but in the anime it's like 0 introduction, right? You're just like, what are these guys? This Scorpion guy? Yeah, it's like 40 characters, and then in season 4, they go to this island, right, where the Ghoul lives, or Laboratory, whatever it is, and there's like 40, 50 people fighting on this island, and seriously, none of them has ever been shown before. It's like, it doesn't make no sense, like 25, 30 Ghouls, right, with all unique powers, fighting 30 of these, like, cop soldier guys, we all have unique weapons, right? They all have like these unique special super weapons based on ghouls, right? And they're all fighting, and you shouldn't be like, and I was anime only first, I was like, what is happening? I have no idea who anyone is. I have no idea what the powers are. And what I love the most I've seen is that one of the ghouls fighting like 3 or 4 cop guys. And I'm just like, who am I rooting for here? I don't understand who is good and evil. Because the cop guys are like some kind of weird monster hybrid guys. They come with some weird powers too. That guy eats humans, but all of them are kind of evil or something. I don't know. Like, you genuinely have no idea who's the good or bad guy. You're just like, suddenly it's like a massive fight between 50 characters. You're just like, okay. It's kind of like watching Naruto, right? And you start at the Konoha, or not Konoha, but the massive Shinobi War 4. Yeah, you start at that. You're like, okay, it's a bunch of ninjas fighting other ninjas. Like, I have no idea who's the good and bad side. It's like, it's a bunch of characters. Yeah, they all got powers. That's how it felt. Oh god, this review is all over the place. I played the strike thing last episode, yeah, but I think it's just, my god, this whole Karakuri thing, yeah, it brought up to me some PTSD from Karakuri Circus. It brings up Tokyo Ghoul PTSD. But seriously, Tokyo Ghoul, That might be one of the worst animes ever. That episode, especially the island episode, 50 new characters, everyone with a unique power, zero explanation. It is the worst, one of the worst animes I've ever seen in my life. The manga is 100 times better, because they actually have like 100 more chapters explaining all the characters, all the backstories and everything, right? But the anime is like, we skip over everything. Here's the fight. He has like no storytelling. Here's all the characters. You're like, yeah. That's interesting. Anime guy, just press the like button. What's your worst anime experience? But yeah, I've seen like every anime out there, right? So obviously I experienced a lot of bad animes. And as I always say though, don't get me wrong, the worst anime of all time is King's Scale. Not King's Ranking. People think I mean King's Ranking, which I love, with Boji and Kage and so on, and of course Mama Healing. But the worst anime I've ever seen in my life is King's Game. That is straight up the worst anime ever. That's the worst thing ever produced by anyone. Like that is truly the worst anime ever. Anyway, so you guys can have a great day.